the hurricane is over, and I got up at 3:30 in the morning so that I could leave the marina at 4. I'm trying to drive up to Merritt Island before the guys at the boatyard go home at the end of the day. This is Friday, and there is not another 2 days of good weather remaining. So I'm trying to get to where we can pull the boat out of the water by the end of this afternoon. Yeah, there's the marker. It's gonna be a turn for this bridge. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. We can do this. Be a green marker somewhere over there. I mean, right somewhere. I don't see that either. Just another day at the office. So many stars. Beautiful out here. Oh man, even the camera can't see that. A lot of very, very dark black. A lot of stars. Oh, I see a glow over there. With the camera, I can see a glow off to the east. I think that is the sun. From now on, it only gets lighter and lighter. How well it shows up on the camera, but between me and that island is another boat, and up ahead is Sebastian Inlet. Alright, the sky is starting to lighten up and is like really overexposed there, so I can turn down the aperture a bit, and with one eye through the camera and one eye looking at the water, I can adjust this so that they look the same. At the moment, this is about what I see with my own eyes. That's what I see straight ahead of me, without the camera boosting the light. And this is what the camera lets me see. Channel marker with pelican, and up ahead really just darkness and some lights from the town of Sebastian. Okay, here comes an interesting part. These markers are pretty close together. I mean, it's nothing like going in and out of the marina was. But for the intercoastal waterway channel, they are pretty darn close together. Alright, that is very, very shallow over there. That sign is warning of dangerous shoals. And this sailboat, I am running straight up the channel. Now, no doubt he went slightly off the channel to anchor, but the wind is blowing out of the west and he's got enough rode out that he has drifted out into the channel. I think I've got enough deep water to go behind him, but this is just a little bit interesting. Oops. Taking pictures instead of driving. Well, the birds are up, going out to search for their breakfast. That bridge there is the Sebastian Inlet, if you're familiar with this area. And I guess that means that guy I saw earlier was not going out the inlet. I mean, he was quite a bit further south. And it's still before dawn. The sky is getting brighter, but the sun has not come up yet. And this is with the aperture stopped way down. So this is probably one of the last shots with the night camera. So I'm going between these two channel markers. And that sea of channel markers out there is leading people to the Sebastian Inlet. That boat there will be going out the inlet to the ocean. But I will not. I will be continuing up the intercoastal waterway. And the sun is not yet up, but the sky is a beautiful orange color. And the autopilot was threatening to drive me into that channel marker. Bit out of the channel, avoiding them. So I'm going to drive back that way. The sun is still not up. It's a beautiful morning. People are getting up and starting to drive their boats. I guess it's a little bit early for the autofocus to be working on the camcorder. Town of Sebastian. That bridge there is the St. Sebastian River. And a little while back I passed the Sebastian Inlet. Let's see, yeah, I can still see it. The inlet bridge, if the camcorder will focus, is over there. Over there. Sorry, a little bit distracted. Looking away from the camera from time to time to make sure I don't run into, say, that channel marker there. So this is the morning, I think August 8th, 7th or 8th, I'm not entirely sure. I left the Suntex Loggerhead Marina in Vero Beach at about 4:30 this morning. And I don't know, it must be close to 7 a.m. now. I wanted to get an early start in the day because this is a Friday and it's the first day that relatively good weather has been forecast for the past week. It's been a week since the last night driving that got me into the marina in Vero at about 1:30 in the morning. And I drove for about 21 hours from Lake Sylvia in Fort Lauderdale to the marina in Vero Beach because that was the last day of good weather before a week of torrential rains and thunderstorms. And the week of bad weather has supposedly passed now, but this being Friday, I need to get to the boat ramp before Jeff goes home for the weekend, or I'll be stuck living at anchor all weekend. And the weather isn't supposed to stay nice for that long. So it would be really good to get there by 4 o'clock or so in the afternoon so that we can get the boat out of the water and back on its trailer. The port engine still occasionally runs rough and drops 200 RPM from 2200 to 2000 momentarily, and then comes back to where it should be. It hasn't been doing it as much today as it did on the way up to Vero. But if there's time, I would like one of the mechanics, either Jeff or Greg, to do a test drive and listen and see if they can tell what the issue is. My best guess is a fouled spark plug. And the temperatures and oil pressures have all been normal. So I've been running it. And the sun is not yet up. Although I can see it's getting much brighter, so it will be coming up soon. But I did get a few hours of extra driving this morning by driving in the dark using GPS. So that'll get me into Merritt Island a couple hours earlier than I otherwise would have been. And hopefully early enough that Jeff will still be at work and can come with the trailer and pull the boat out. And here are the next two channel markers. I've still got the GPS zoomed way in. You can see that if I stay in the marked channel on the GPS, you can see the two channel markers, and I am going right in between them, and they are not that far apart. It's very impressive how accurate these maps are. And those were the two channel markers I just drove between. If you've got accurate GPS maps and an accurate chart plotter, you can do this. You can definitely drive at night by GPS. Now, I would highly recommend zooming it in like this and driving a bit in the daytime, keeping the boat in the channel, which, as you can see, takes a little bit of concentration. And do this for a few hours and kind of convince yourself whether or not your particular maps and your particular GPS are accurate enough to avoid hitting unlit channel markers in the middle of the night and staying off of shoals and stuff like that. But if you can run along for a few hours in the daytime and avoid any obstacles using just the GPS, then there's no reason why you can't drive at night just using the GPS and the hyper-accurate maps. There we go. Beautiful sunrise.